Hey folks, welcome back to Stoic Relationships. Let me ask you this. Have you ever found yourself caught in a whirlwind of mixed signals, unkept promises, or manipulative behaviors that left you questioning your worth or your role in the relationship? It's frustrating, isn't it? Being on the receiving end of emotional games can make you feel stuck, powerless, and even doubting your own instincts. But here's the truth, folks. When someone is playing games with your heart, it's less about you and more about them. Their behavior often stems from insecurities, control issues, or a lack of emotional maturity. The good news? You don't have to play along. With the right mindset and strategies, you can outsmart these games, reclaim your power, and protect your peace. Now, before we dive into the 10 ways to outsmart anyone playing games with your heart, let's take a moment to ground ourselves in Stoic philosophy. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control others' actions, but we can control how we respond. When faced with emotional manipulation, the key is to stay calm, observe without judgment, and act with intention rather than reaction. This mindset not only helps you navigate these situations, but also ensures that you maintain your self-respect and inner peace. Here's why this topic is so important. Emotional games can drain your energy, distract you from your goals, and erode your confidence if you let them. Whether it's someone who's hot and cold, constantly testing your boundaries, or refusing to communicate honestly, their actions are designed to keep you guessing and emotionally invested. But you deserve better, folks. You deserve relationships built on trust, honesty, and respect, not manipulation. In today's video, we're going to break down the 10 most effective ways to outsmart anyone who's trying to toy with your emotions. These aren't just quick fixes. They're long-term strategies rooted in Stoic wisdom that will help you protect your heart, strengthen your boundaries, and cultivate relationships that align with your values. But first, let's address the elephant in the room. Why do people play games in the first place? The answer lies in power dynamics. When someone engages in emotional manipulation, they're often seeking control, attention, or validation. By keeping you uncertain, they maintain a sense of power in the relationship. Recognizing this dynamic is the first step toward breaking free from it. Once you understand their motivations, you can detach emotionally and approach the situation with clarity and confidence. So, how do you break the cycle? It starts with recognizing that you have more power than you think. Emotional games only work if you choose to participate. By adopting a Stoic mindset and practicing the strategies we'll discuss today, you can take back control, not just over the relationship, but over your own emotions and decisions. And folks, let me share this. The most powerful thing you can do when faced with manipulation is to respond, not react. Reacting gives the other person control over your emotions. Responding, on the other hand, puts the power back in your hands. This shift in mindset is transformative, and it's what we'll be focusing on throughout this video. Here's what you can expect. We'll start with foundational strategies, like detaching emotionally and recognizing behavioral patterns. Then we'll move into more advanced tactics, such as setting boundaries early, staying calm under pressure, and prioritizing your well-being above all else. Each of these steps is designed to empower you, protect your heart, and guide you toward relationships that are healthy and fulfilling. Now, before we jump in, I want you to take a moment to reflect on your own experiences. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like someone was manipulating your emotions? How did you handle it? Drop a quick "I've been there" in the comments if this resonates with you. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. And together, we'll navigate these challenges with strength and wisdom. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe and join our Stoic community. We're all about equipping you with the tools and insights to build stronger, healthier relationships rooted in respect and authenticity. All right, folks, let's get started with the first strategy: detach emotionally. Number 1. Detach emotionally. All right, folks, let's dive into the first way to outsmart anyone playing games with your heart. Detach emotionally. Emotional detachment doesn't mean shutting off your feelings entirely. It means stepping back, creating space, and gaining clarity so you can respond to situations with strength and intention instead of reacting impulsively. Here's the thing. When someone plays games with your emotions, their power comes from your reaction. They thrive on your confusion, frustration, or desperation to fix the situation. By emotionally detaching, you take away the fuel that keeps their manipulation going. It's like stepping out of a game you never agreed to play. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how much calmer and clearer your thoughts become when you take a step back from a situation? That's the power of emotional detachment. It allows you to observe what's happening without getting entangled in the drama. When you're no longer emotionally invested in their games, you're able to see their patterns and intentions more clearly. Now, let's bring some Stoic wisdom into this, folks. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions are within our control, even if external events are not. When you detach emotionally, you're not denying your feelings. You're choosing not to let those feelings control you. This mindset helps you stay grounded, even when someone is trying to manipulate or provoke you. Detaching emotionally also gives you time and space to assess the situation objectively. Instead of reacting to every move they make, you can evaluate their behavior and decide how, or if, you want to respond. It's about shifting the focus from their actions to your boundaries and well-being. And here's a key point. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. You can care about someone while still refusing to engage in unhealthy dynamics. So, how can you start detaching emotionally? The first step is awareness. Pay attention to how their behavior affects you and recognize the patterns in their actions. Are they hot and cold? Do they test your boundaries? Once you identify these patterns, it becomes easier to take a step back. Next, practice mindfulness. When you feel triggered, pause and remind yourself that you control your response, not them. This shift in perspective puts the power back in your hands. Here's a simple exercise to try, folks. The next time you feel overwhelmed by someone's games, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what am I feeling and why? Is this worth my peace? This moment of reflection can make all the difference in helping you detach from their tactics and refocus on what truly matters, your well-being. All right, folks, if you're ready to embrace the power of emotional detachment, let's affirm it together. I control my emotions. Drop that in the comments and stick around, because the next strategy will teach you how to recognize behavioral patterns that reveal their intentions. Let's keep going. Number 2, recognize behavioral patterns. All right, folks, let's move on to the second way to outsmart anyone playing games with your heart. Recognize behavioral patterns. One of the most effective ways to protect yourself from emotional manipulation is to identify the patterns in their actions. People who play games often follow predictable behaviors, and once you recognize these patterns, you gain a significant advantage. Here's something to consider. Have you ever noticed someone repeating the same tactics to provoke a reaction from you? Maybe they give you the silent treatment one day, then shower you with attention the next, only to pull away again. This push and pull dynamic is a classic tactic designed to keep you emotionally hooked. By recognizing these behaviors, you can break free from the cycle and stop giving them the reaction they're looking for. So, what are some common patterns to watch for? First, inconsistency. They might alternate between being overly affectionate and completely distant, leaving you constantly guessing about their true feelings. This inconsistency creates uncertainty, making you work harder to gain their approval. Second, they might test your boundaries, subtly crossing lines to see how far they can go before you push back. Third, they may use guilt or emotional appeals to manipulate your actions, framing their needs as more important than your own. The key to recognizing these patterns is to approach them with a Stoic mindset. Stoicism teaches us to observe without judgment, focusing on what we can control, our own actions and reactions. When you see these behaviors for what they are, you strip them of their power. Instead of feeling confused or frustrated, you can calmly acknowledge the pattern and decide how to respond. Here's a practical way to start, folks. Keep a mental or physical record of their behaviors. Pay attention to when and how these patterns occur. Do they become distant when you express your needs? Do they overreact to small issues as a way to shift the focus back to them? By tracking these patterns, you can identify the tactics they're using and prepare yourself to respond with clarity and confidence. Recognizing behavioral patterns also helps you set better boundaries. Once you see their tactics clearly, you can establish limits to protect yourself from further manipulation. For example, if they constantly try to test your patience with inconsistency, you can calmly communicate that you value stability and won't tolerate mixed signals. This not only asserts your boundaries, but also sends a message that you're not an easy target for games. All right, folks, if you're ready to start recognizing patterns and taking back your power, let's affirm this together. I see the games clearly. Drop that in the comments and don't go anywhere, because the next strategy is all about setting boundaries early and standing by them. Let's keep going. Number 3. Set boundaries. Early. All right, folks, let's move on to the third strategy to outsmart anyone playing games with your heart. Set boundaries early. Boundaries are essential for protecting your emotional well-being and ensuring that relationships are built on mutual respect. When someone tries to manipulate your emotions, clear boundaries send a strong message that you won't tolerate their games. Let me ask you this. Have you ever found yourself compromising your values just to keep the peace in a relationship? It's an easy trap to fall into, especially when you care about someone. But here's the thing. If you don't set boundaries early, you're essentially giving them permission to keep testing and pushing your limits. The key to effective boundaries is clarity. People who play games often thrive on ambiguity, so being direct about what you will and won't tolerate takes away their power. For example, if someone frequently cancels plans at the last minute or uses silence to manipulate you, calmly state your expectations. I value reliability and open communication. If that's not something you're willing to provide, this connection won't work for me. It's not about creating conflict. It's about standing firm in your values. From a Stoic perspective, setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. Stoicism teaches us to prioritize our own well-being while approaching relationships with integrity. By setting boundaries, you're not only protecting yourself, but also defining the terms of how you wish to be treated. It's a way of saying, I respect myself enough to ensure that my relationships align with my values. But here's the important part, folks. Boundaries only work if you enforce them consistently. If someone crosses a line you've clearly set, calmly reiterate your boundary and follow through with any consequences you've established. For example, if you've communicated that you won't tolerate disrespect and they continue to behave that way, it's okay to step back or walk away. Boundaries without action send mixed signals, which can encourage more manipulative behavior. One common challenge is the fear of pushing people away when setting boundaries. But here's the truth. The right people will respect your boundaries, while those who don't were never invested in a healthy connection to begin with. Boundaries act as a filter, helping you identify who truly values you and who's only interested in controlling or manipulating you. All right, folks, if you're ready to start setting boundaries early and protecting your peace, let's affirm this together. I stand firm. Drop that in the comments and stick around, because the next strategy is about staying calm under pressure, even when they try to push your buttons. Let's keep going. Number 4, stay calm under pressure. All right, folks, let's dive into the 4th strategy to outsmart anyone playing games with your heart. Stay calm under pressure. Emotional manipulators thrive on chaos. They often try to push your buttons, provoke a reaction, or create drama to keep you off balance. The moment you lose your composure, you hand them the control they're looking for. But when you stay calm and grounded, their tactics lose their power. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever had someone say or do something specifically to get a rise out of you? Whether it's a sarcastic comment, a passive-aggressive action, or an outright confrontation, their goal is to manipulate your emotions. By staying calm, you disrupt their plan and maintain control over the situation, and more importantly, over yourself. Stoicism provides a powerful tool for this. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is to focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't. In moments of pressure, you can't control their behavior, but you can control how you respond. By pausing, taking a deep breath, and choosing to remain calm, you protect your peace and deny them the reaction they're seeking. Here's a practical technique, folks. When someone tries to provoke you, imagine that you're an observer watching the interaction from the outside. This mental detachment helps you see the situation more clearly without getting swept up in the emotions of the moment. Ask yourself, is their behavior worth my energy? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values? This pause not only helps you stay calm, but also allows you to make more intentional choices. Another benefit of staying calm under pressure is that it shifts the power dynamic. When they realize they can't rattle you, it often forces them to reevaluate their approach. Manipulators rely on emotional reactions to gain control, so your composure sends a clear message. I'm not playing this game. This disarms them and leaves them without a way to maintain their upper hand. It's also important to remember that staying calm doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. Stoicism teaches us to acknowledge our feelings without letting them dictate our actions. If you feel hurt, frustrated, or angry, it's okay to recognize those emotions, but choose to process them privately rather than giving the manipulator the satisfaction of seeing your reaction. All right, folks, if you're ready to embrace calmness as your superpower, let's affirm this together. I remain steady. Drop that in the comments and stick around, because the next strategy is all about prioritizing your well-being above all else. Let's keep going. Number 5. Prioritize your well-being. All right, folks, let's move on to the 5th strategy to outsmart anyone playing games with your heart. Prioritize your well-being. When someone is trying to manipulate you, they often rely on your tendency to put their needs above your own. By prioritizing your mental and emotional health, you shift the focus back to yourself, making it much harder for them to maintain control. Here's something to think about. Have you ever noticed how exhausting it feels to constantly accommodate someone else's emotional games? Manipulators often thrive on this dynamic because it keeps you invested in their needs while neglecting your own. But when you make your well-being a priority, you break this cycle and regain your energy, focus, and peace of mind. The first step in prioritizing your well-being is recognizing the toll their behavior is taking on you. Manipulative tactics like guilt-tripping, mixed signals, or emotional withdrawal can leave you feeling drained and questioning your worth. Take a moment to reflect. How is this relationship impacting my happiness, my confidence, and my ability to thrive? If the answer isn't positive, it's time to make a change. From a Stoic perspective, self-care is not selfish, it's essential. Stoicism teaches us that our responsibility is to live in alignment with our values and to care for ourselves so we can face life's challenges with strength and clarity. When you prioritize your well-being, you're not abandoning the other person. You're ensuring that you have the energy and resilience to live authentically. Practical self-care doesn't have to be complicated, folks. Start by setting aside time each day to focus on activities that bring you joy and recharge your spirit. Whether it's journaling, meditating, exercising, or spending time with supportive friends, these small actions build your inner strength and reinforce your boundaries. Remember, when you take care of yourself, you're less likely to be swayed by someone else's manipulative behavior. Another key aspect of prioritizing your well-being is learning to say no without guilt. When someone tries to push your boundaries or demand more than you're willing to give, a firm and respectful no is one of the most powerful tools you have. It sends a clear message that your peace is non-negotiable. All right, folks, let's affirm this together. My well-being comes first. Drop that in the comments, and if you're finding these insights helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe for more Stoic wisdom on building stronger, healthier relationships. Stick around, because the next strategy is all about maintaining your independence and staying true to yourself. Let's keep going. Number 6. Maintain your independence. All right, folks, let's explore the 6th strategy to outsmart anyone playing games with your heart. Maintain your independence. People who play emotional games often try to make you dependent on them, whether it's emotionally, mentally, or even socially. By staying independent, you send a clear message. I value this relationship, but I don't need it to define me. Here's something to think about. Have you ever been in a relationship where you started to lose sight of your own interests, goals, or even identity because you were so focused on the other person? That's exactly what manipulators want. They thrive when you rely on them for validation, support, or decision-making. But when you maintain your independence, you take back the power and remind them and yourself that you're whole and complete on your own. Maintaining independence starts with nurturing your individuality. This means continuing to pursue your hobbies, goals, and relationships outside of the dynamic with the other person. When you have a strong sense of self and a life filled with purpose, you're less likely to be swayed by their attempts to control or manipulate you. Independence isn't about pushing people away. It's about ensuring that your identity remains intact, no matter what happens in the relationship. Stoicism offers us a valuable perspective here, folks. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control, and our independence is one of the most powerful tools we have. When you prioritize your growth and self-reliance, you're building a foundation of inner strength that no one can take away. This not only protects you from manipulation, but also attracts healthier, more respectful connections. Practical independence involves setting time aside for yourself and staying true to your personal goals. Maybe it's pursuing a career milestone, maintaining friendships outside of the relationship, or simply taking time to recharge. These actions remind both you and the other person that your happiness isn't tied to their approval or behavior. Another aspect of maintaining independence is being confident in your decisions. Manipulators often try to make you second-guess yourself, but standing firm in your choices shows that you trust your judgment. Whether it's deciding to spend time with friends, pursue a new opportunity, or enforce a boundary, your independence makes it clear that you're not easily controlled. All right, folks, if you're ready to embrace your independence and show that you're in charge of your life, let's affirm this together. I am whole. Drop that in the comments and don't forget to hit subscribe if you're finding these insights helpful. Stick around, because the next strategy will reveal how you can master the art of clear communication to outsmart emotional games. Let's keep going. Number 7. Master clear communication. All right, folks, let's move on to the 7th strategy to outsmart anyone playing games with your heart. Master clear communication. Manipulators often thrive in the gray areas of misunderstandings and ambiguity. They rely on vague conversations, mixed signals, and emotional confusion to keep you off balance. But when you communicate clearly and directly, you leave no room for their games to take root. Let me ask you this. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you didn't say what you really meant, and it led to more confusion or conflict? That's exactly the kind of uncertainty manipulators exploit. By being clear and confident in your words, you take control of the narrative and set the tone for healthier, more respectful interactions. Clear communication starts with knowing what you want and need. Take a moment to reflect on your priorities and boundaries, and be prepared to express them assertively. For example, if someone is playing hot and cold with you, calmly address it. I value consistent communication. If that's not something you're able to offer, this connection may not work for me. Notice how this statement is firm yet respectful. It sets a boundary without creating unnecessary drama. Stoicism offers valuable guidance here, folks. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is to speak with intention, ensuring that our words reflect our values and priorities. When you communicate with clarity, you're not only asserting your needs, but also showing the other person that you won't tolerate manipulation. This level of confidence can often disarm their tactics and push them to either step up or step aside. Another essential aspect of clear communication is listening actively. Manipulators often rely on one-sided conversations where they dominate the narrative or twist your words. By listening carefully, you can identify inconsistencies or emotional triggers they might be using. Respond with calm, direct questions that bring the focus back to the issue at hand. For example, can you clarify what you mean by that? Or, are you saying this to address a concern, or is there something else you'd like to discuss? It's also important to avoid engaging in reactive communication. Manipulators will try to provoke you into arguments or emotional outbursts, but staying calm and composed in your responses helps you maintain control. Take a deep breath, think before you speak, and keep your tone measured. Remember, clear communication isn't just about what you say, it's also about how you say it. All right, folks, if you're ready to master clear communication and take charge of your relationships, let's affirm this together. I speak with intention. Drop that in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more Stoic strategies and relationship wisdom. Stick around, because the next strategy is about leveraging time and patience to your advantage. Let's keep going. Number 8. Use time and patience to your advantage. All right, folks, let's talk about the 8th strategy to outsmart anyone playing games with your heart. Use time and patience to your advantage. Emotional manipulators often rely on creating urgency and pressure to get you to react without thinking. But when you take your time and approach situations with patience, you strip away their ability to control the narrative. Think about it for a second. Have you ever felt rushed to make a decision in a relationship, whether it was responding to a conflict, setting a boundary, or clarifying your feelings? That pressure is a classic tactic used by those who want to keep you off balance. By slowing things down, you give yourself the space to evaluate the situation and make intentional choices rather than impulsive ones. Stoicism teaches us that patience is one of the most powerful tools we have. When you refuse to be rushed or pressured, you demonstrate emotional strength and self-control. Manipulators thrive on quick reactions because they can exploit your emotions in the heat of the moment. By taking your time, you force them to play on your terms, not theirs. Here's how you can use time to your advantage. When someone tries to provoke or pressure you, pause. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that you're under no obligation to respond immediately. Whether it's an argument, a decision, or a confrontation, allow yourself the time to think it through. A simple response like, "Let me think about this and get back to you," can be incredibly effective in diffusing their attempts to control the situation. Patience also gives you the opportunity to observe their behavior more closely. When you're not rushing to react, you can see patterns, inconsistencies, and intentions more clearly. This perspective allows you to make more informed decisions about how to proceed and whether the relationship is worth your time and energy. Another key aspect of using patience is understanding the long game. Manipulators often look for short-term wins, getting a reaction, securing attention, or shifting blame. But when you remain calm and consistent over time, their tactics lose effectiveness. They begin to realize that they can't manipulate you into immediate reactions or decisions, which often forces them to either change their approach or disengage altogether. All right, folks, if you're ready to embrace patience as your superpower and take control of your emotional responses, let's affirm this together. I choose patience. Drop that in the comments, and if you're finding these strategies helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe for more Stoic wisdom on navigating relationships. Stick around, because the next strategy is all about knowing when to walk away for your own peace. Let's keep going. Number 9. Know when to walk away. All right, folks, let's get into the 9th strategy to outsmart anyone playing games with your heart. Know when to walk away. This might be one of the most difficult, but also one of the most empowering steps you can take. Sometimes, no matter how much effort you put into communicating, setting boundaries, or staying patient, the healthiest choice is to step away. Let's be honest here. Have you ever stayed in a relationship longer than you should have, hoping things would improve? It's a common experience, especially when you care deeply about someone. But here's the truth, folks. Staying in a dynamic where someone continuously plays games with your emotions not only drains your energy, but also diminishes your sense of self-worth. Walking away isn't giving up, it's choosing yourself. Knowing when to walk away starts with recognizing the signs. If someone consistently disregards your boundaries, manipulates your emotions, or fails to take accountability for their actions, it's a clear indication that they're not invested in a healthy connection. Remember, actions speak louder than words. If their behavior doesn't align with their promises or intentions, it's time to consider whether the relationship is worth your peace and happiness. Stoicism offers powerful guidance in this situation. One of the core principles of Stoicism is to focus on what you can control: your actions, your values, and your emotional state. You can't control how someone else behaves or whether they choose to change. What you can control is your decision to protect your well-being and create space for relationships that truly honor and respect you. Walking away doesn't have to be dramatic, folks. In fact, the most powerful exits are often calm and dignified. You don't need to explain yourself excessively or engage in prolonged discussions about why you're leaving. A simple, clear statement, such as, "This dynamic no longer aligns with what I need for a healthy connection," is enough. By walking away with grace, you send a strong message that you respect yourself and won't settle for less than you deserve. One of the challenges of walking away is dealing with the fear of loss. It's natural to feel uncertain about letting go, especially if the relationship held significance for you. But here's the thing, holding on to something unhealthy out of fear only prolongs the pain. By stepping away, you open the door to new opportunities and connections that align with your values and bring you joy. Another aspect to consider is that walking away often triggers reflection in the other person. Your absence forces them to confront their behavior and its consequences. While this isn't the goal, it can sometimes lead to growth and change on their part. However, this shouldn't be your focus. Your priority is your own growth and well-being. Let's talk about the long-term benefits of walking away, folks. When you remove yourself from a manipulative dynamic, you reclaim your energy, your confidence, and your peace of mind. You also set a powerful precedent for future relationships, showing that you won't tolerate disrespect or games. This clarity and self-respect not only improve your relationships, but also strengthen your sense of self-worth. All right, folks, let me ask you this. Have you ever walked away from a situation that no longer served you? If so, let's affirm this together. I choose peace. Drop that in the comments. And if you're finding these insights helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe for more Stoic strategies and relationship wisdom. Stick around, because the final strategy ties everything together and gives you the ultimate tool to outsmart emotional games. Let's wrap this up strong. Number 10. Embrace your power of choice. All right, folks, we've made it to the final strategy. Embrace your power of choice. When it comes to dealing with emotional games, one of the most empowering realizations you can have is that you always have a choice. Whether it's choosing how to respond, setting boundaries, or deciding to walk away, your power lies in recognizing that you are in control of your own life and emotions. Let's take a moment to reflect. How often have you felt trapped in a situation as though the other person held all the power? This feeling of helplessness is exactly what manipulators rely on to keep you emotionally invested. But here's the truth. No one can control you unless you let them. Your ability to make choices that align with your values is what sets you free. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control others' actions, we have full control over our own decisions and mindset. This principle is at the heart of embracing your power of choice. Instead of reacting to someone else's behavior, you take a step back, evaluate your options, and make decisions that prioritize your peace, well-being, and personal growth. The first step to embracing your power of choice is shifting your perspective. Instead of focusing on what the other person is doing, turn your attention inward. Ask yourself, what do I want out of this relationship? What am I willing to accept? And what am I not? By centering your own needs and values, you reclaim the control that manipulators try to take away. Another important aspect of this strategy is practicing self-trust. Manipulators often use tactics like gaslighting or guilt to make you doubt yourself. But when you trust your instincts and decisions, you create a solid foundation that's difficult to shake. Remind yourself that you are capable of making choices that serve your highest good, even if those choices are challenging in the moment. Here's a powerful exercise, folks. The next time you're faced with a situation where you feel manipulated or pressured, pause and ask yourself, what is the choice that aligns with my peace? This simple question can help you refocus and act with intention rather than being swayed by external influences. The beauty of embracing your power of choice is that it shifts the dynamic entirely. No longer are you reacting to their games. Instead, you're leading with clarity, confidence, and a sense of purpose. This not only protects your emotional well-being, but also sets the tone for healthier, more respectful relationships moving forward. All right, folks, let's affirm this powerful mindset together. I choose my path. Drop that in the comments. All right, folks, that wraps up our journey through the 10 strategies to outsmart anyone playing games with your heart. I hope today's insights gave you the clarity and confidence to handle these situations with strength and grace. Remember, manipulation only works when we let it. By staying grounded in your values, prioritizing your well-being, and embracing your power of choice, you reclaim control over your emotions and your relationships. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't change others, we can always change how we respond. The strategies we've discussed today aren't just about protecting your heart. They're about cultivating resilience and building relationships rooted in respect and authenticity. If you found value in today's video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe and join our Stoic community. Together, we're navigating relationships with wisdom, clarity, and a focus on self-growth. Before we go, let me leave you with this. The strongest move you can make in any relationship is to stay true to yourself. Thanks for watching, folks. Until next time, keep calm, stay strong, and always choose peace. See you in the next video.